Alright, so forgive me. I'm trying to get this review to open up. It's taking a while. All right, so I'm going to start the first one. And then if you still have questions, you can come find your teacher and go to the small group table. All right. My computer is acting slow. So step one is you're going to do distributive property. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply each term inside the parentheses. So that's going to look like this. 45 minus 9x greater than equal to. I'm also going to do this, multiply each term inside the parentheses, 4x minus 12. Then from here, I'm going to draw my railroad tracks, or your train tracks, whatever you call it. And then I'm going to box my variable. I'm going to change up the color a little bit. So when I box it, I include the sign in front of the coefficient. So I know that this is going to be negative 9x, this is going to be 4x. Now, unlike equations and inequalities, we want to have our variables on the left. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides because that just lets me know what direction I'm going to go on the number line. Then I'm going to draw a line that'll allow me to bring down negative 12. Change the color again. That'll allow me to cancel out the 4's, have less than, equal to. This will be negative 13x. And then this will bring down the 45. Still going to go back in, box my variables. Now I'm going to move the constant to the right side of the inequality. So to do that, I'm going to do inverse operation, which would be subtracting 45 from both sides. Then I'm going to draw a line. This will allow me to cancel out the 45, so those go. We bring down negative 13x, which is greater than or equal to negative 57. Now the key is that we have to know what we need to do when we divide both sides by negative. And what you have to do is you have to flip the sign. So I'm going to have negative 13 here, negative 13 here. And that will allow me to cancel out my x's. I'll have x, which will be less than, equal to, positive, because these negatives cancel out, 57 over 13. This will also look like this on the number line. So I'll do this in pink. It's going to go this direction because all the x values are going to be less than negative 57 over 13. And it's going to be a closed circle because it's got that equal to sign under it. So because it's got that equal to sign under it, it's going to be a closed circle. If it was just less than, it would be an open circle. So if they have the number line as an answer choice, you know what direction your line should go. All right, so this next one is solving an equation. So just a tad bit different from an inequality. We're going to start with distributive property again. So I'm going to distribute this term to each term inside the parentheses. So this is going to be 0.75 x, and then I'm going to multiply this with my calculator. And when I multiply it, I would get 15. So I'm going to do plus 15. So all I did was multiply 0.75 times 20, and I got 15. Equals 2 plus 0.75 times x is 0.75. And then 0.5 times negative 2 is going to be negative 1. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify my like terms on the right. And there's 2. And it's 2 and 1, and that's just going to be 1. Then I'm going to put plus 0.5x equals plus 15 0.75x. I'm going to box my variables. And then I'm going to move my variables to one side. It really does not matter which side you want to move them to. I'm going to move my variables to the left because this is my smaller box, and I usually like to work with the smaller box first. As you saw in the inequalities, it really doesn't matter, but it's just preference. I'm just going to put the 0 here because it's the same thing, because it's easier for me to subtract mentally. If that's fine, if you just want to put 0.5, that's fine. Just know that this answer is going to be 0.25x plus 15 equals, and all we have left over here is 1. So now I'm going to box my variable again. And I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. Cross this out. And I have 0.25x equals negative 14. So now, so that I can get the x by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 0.25. And we got to see what we get. So if I do this in my calculator, I'm going to grab my calculator. It's off camera because everybody should have a calculator at their hand. You should know how to use it by now. Then do negative 14 divided by 0.25, and you will get your answer. Okay? You're going to have to do that part all on your own. Right? All right. The equation below can be used to determine the number of small tables x and the number of large tables y that you need for a party. Which of the following is the same equation solved for y? So what we're going to do is we're going to solve for y. So I'm going to rewrite this equation out. 4x plus 6y equals 180. And I'm solving for y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle y, what I'm solving for, because that's what I'm trying to get by itself. Okay? Then I'm going to draw my railroad tracks. You don't have to box your variable because you have many. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. I'm going to cross the line. And then we're going to have 6y equals 180 minus 4x. x. Now what we need to do is we need to get y by itself, and then we're going to divide 6 by each term on the other side. So I'm going to divide 6 here, but I also need to divide 180 by 6 and negative 4x by 6. So that crosses out, and we have y equals 30 minus, and then we have to simplify, will turn into negative 2/3 x. Now, they rearrange this equation as an answer choice. So you're going to have to identify which one of those answer choices best matches this one. All right, this one right here, it says the formula shown can be used to find A, the amount of money Paul has in the savings account. Raul wants to find R, so he wants to find R. So we're going to solve for R. The rate of interest his money earns. Which equation is correctly solved for R? So we have A equals P plus P R T. We're trying to get R, the rate by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle R. Okay? And I'm going to subtract P from both sides. And then we're going to have A minus P equals P R T. I'm going to circle R, and I'm going to get rid of P and T because we want to solve for R. So to do that, I'm going to divide both sides by P and T because that's the inverse operations. If the letters right next to each other, that means you're multiplying. And the inverse of multiplication is division. Okay, cancel this out. And we know that A minus P divided by P T equals R. And for this next one, I'm going to be showing my work down here, so I'm going to be using the entire space. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do distributive property. And then we have to include this phantom 1 here. Because we have a negative, we have to include the phantom 1. And I'm also going to do distributive property to each term. So this one here is going to turn to negative 21 x squared because we're multiplying 2 x's, and now there's going to be 2 x's. So that's going to be identified as x squared. Now we're doing negative 3x times negative 4. That's going to be positive 12x because it's just 1x plus 6x. Then we do minus 13. And then we're doing plus 24x squared. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify my like terms. So we have my x squareds here, and that's what I'm going to work with first. This is an x squared, and this is an x squared. And we can combine these, and then we're going to be left with 3x squared. So I'm going to put that here. Then next, we have other like terms, which is 12x and 6x. I'm going to circle these because they're not the same as the x squareds. And I know that 12x plus 6x is going to be 18x. And then we're going to have minus 13. So now you just have to find the correct one, and that is it. If the formula for a perimeter of a rectangle is P equals 2L plus 2W, when W can be expressed as, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be solving for W. So we're trying to get the W by itself. So I'm going to rewrite this. P equals 2L plus 2W. I'm going to circle W just to let myself know that I'm solving for W. And my goal is to get W by itself. Okay, I'm going to draw my railroad tracks. I'm going to subtract 2L from both sides. So that will allow me to write this as P minus 2L equals 2W. And then we're still trying to get W by itself. So I'm going to circle W. To get W by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And then you just have P minus 2L divided by 2 equals W. So now you just have to find the matching one of that.